Fine. Today I'll be starting with the last module of your syllabus. The students of EC, anybody from EC here?
Yes, ma'am.
You people have already done this in advanced numerical methods. You remember the methods dichotomous search, unimodal functions,
Yes, ma'am.
then golden section, Fibonacci. So this is going to be a repetition of those methods in this particular module. So the students of EC are like well aware with these all methods. To the students of CSC, the module is entirely new. So what the students of EC, what you can really do is you can basically brush up like what you had done earlier. So let me start off with what is meant by a unimodal function. We are starting with the last module. Okay, so we are going to start with defining a unimodal function. Okay, first let me tell you what is a monotonic function. This part is known to all of you, I guess. We say that a function is said to be monotonic if for any x1 and x2 with x1 less or equal to bolo.
Ma'am, today's topic is not included in the syllabus, right?
Not at all. আমি তো লিখে দিয়েছি. Didn't you follow the Google Classroom?
Yes, ma'am.
Regarding your
Yes, ma'am.
syllabus, everything is very
Yes,
clearly
ma'am.
mentioned. This part is not included in your syllabus for the internals. Definitely. If this be the case, what do we say? The function is monotonically increasing, and if it so happens that f of x1 is greater than equal to f of x2, we say that the function is monotonically decreasing. So we can have a graphical representation like this. If this is my x and this is my fx, can you tell me which of the given figures is monotonically decreasing? Which of the curves in the given figures is monotonically decreasing?
Number 2.
Number 2 is monotonically decreasing and number 1 is monotonically increasing. Now we will be defining what's a unimodal function. We say that a function is unimodal in A less than equal to X less than equal to B if and only if it is monotonic on either side of a point, say x plus, where x plus is the single optimal point. That implies if this be the case, this is the point x plus, this is x, and this is fx. what we find is whenever x is less than x plus, the function is monotonically decreasing, and whenever x is greater than x plus, the function is monotonically increasing. That implies what we can basically say is the function is increasing on one side and decreasing on the other. Am I okay with the definition? Am I okay with the definition of a unimodal function? So can we say that the unimodal function can have only a single minima or a single maxima in a given interval? Are we all okay with the given definition? In layman's language, we can say that a unimodal function can have only a single minima or a single maxima in a given interval. Right? Am I correct with this?
Yes,
What
ma'am.
I'm trying to say is a unimodal function can have only one peak, that is maxima, or one valley, that is minima, in a given interval. Okay, so if this is a given definition of or a given curve corresponding to unimodal function, then if I draw another curve, say this one, if this is A and this is B, here what we find is in the given interval AB, the function is having more than one maxima and more than one minima, right? It does not have a single peak or a single valley. So this kind of a function is known as a multimodal function. Are we all okay till this? Do let me know.
Yes, ma'am.
So you know what we can say is, in this interval AB, if I call this one as x1, x2, this is x3, and this is x4, we can say that x3 is the global minimum in AB. Can we say this? That among all the minima that are present, this one is having the least value. So x3 can be thought to be the global minimum in AB. Am I okay with this or not? Do let me know. Now we will, can I say further that for a unimodal function, the local minimum and the global minimum coincide? Can I say this? For a unimodal function, the local and the global minimum coincide. Okay. Now let me ask you something. You all have studied numerical methods, right? So in numerical methods, if we talk about how to find out root of an equation, the very basic ones, do you remember some methods for finding root of equation? Anybody remembers some numerical methods for finding root of an equation? Are
Vanishing method.
Runchkota.
RK method কিসের জন্য use করতাম? RK method was used for solving differential equations, right?
Oh, yes, ma'am.
I'm talking about finding roots of equations. একটা তো হলো নিউটন র্যাপসন মেথড, আর
Vanishing method.
what do you mean by vanishing method?
Ma'am, it was like a hit and child method. It was a naive method.
I do get it by but I don't remember something called vanishing method. What I remember is bisection method. What I remember is
Ma'am, it is the same thing.
bisection method, and then your the second method. You know what was the rule like? The rule was, if the function intersects the x-axis, that is the point at which the root lies. Am I okay with this? So, how to find out the position of the root? We used to figure out an interval. We used to have a probable interval AB in which the root is going to lie. Am I correct? And how did we choose the interval that is going to bracket the root? Do you remember the rule by which we used to choose the interval that was supposed to bracket the root? You know, bisection, then regular falsi, Newton-Raphson are all based on this particular technology. The tool that we use to find out the interval that is going to bracket the root. Anybody remembers the tool? You know, we used to find out FA and FB.
Oh, yeah,
And if-
they should be of unlike signs.
Exactly. And if FA into FB is less than 0, that implies FA and FB are lying on the opposite directions of the x-axis. So it is obvious that the curve is going to intersect the x-axis at least once between A and B. Am I okay with this?
Yes, ma'am.
ঠিক বলছি তো? Okay. Now, you know, we are going to learn about a similar method known as elimination method. We are going to basically talk about certain search algorithms. We will be given certain, in LPP, the objective function was linear. Am I right?
Yes.
In LPP, what we have learned all about is the objective function is linear. Now we are going to talk about, now we will learn to minimize if the objective function is non-linear, right? So your objective function is, say, fx objective function is a function of x, and we will be minimizing this, minimizing fx. For that, we are going to learn certain search techniques. The search techniques are, we will be learning about dichotomous search. All these are search techniques. Then we will learn about golden section search. There's Fibonacci search. Fibonacci search. Then there's interval halving method. And all of these are based on a certain tool. The tool is the elimination method. That implies, initially, if I say that suppose this is a curve for which we are to figure out that particular point at which the function fx is going to be minimized. If this is my initial interval of search, by a certain technique, we are going to shrink our interval of search. The way we used to shrink our interval of search using bisection, Regler-Falsey, and Newton-Raphson, here we are going to use the technique of elimination method, so that we are gradually able to shrink the interval of search, so that at a certain point of time, we almost, the interval becomes so small that it almost coincides with the point at which the function is being minimized. And that would definitely depend upon the accuracy that is given to us. And this is how everything falls into place. Am I being able to explain myself, or you want me to tell it once more? Like, say, for example, in bisection, say this is the function that is given to us. Then what did we do? We basically found out A and B. Correct? How did we found out A and B? On the basis that f into fb less than 0. Then, is there anybody who remembers how to find out the next interval in case of bisection method? The easiest one. Suppose this is my A and this is my B. I mean, this is A and this is B. Then gradually, what did we do? We basically were decreasing the interval of search, so that at some point of time, you are so near to the actual root that we say that, yes, we have reached the desired accuracy, and this is the approximate root to the given equation. So do you remember the rule that we used to apply in case of bisection method? Anyone? You people there? Are you people there? মনে পড়ছে বাইসেকশনে কিভাবে আমরা নতুন ইন্টারভালটা ফাইন্ড করতাম? We used to find a point C, which was the midpoint of A and B, right? Then depending upon the sign of FC, we used to decide on whether AC is the new interval or CB is the new interval, right? Do you remember till this?
Yes.
Fine. That much would be enough. Now, in elimination method, what we do is, what is your objective? Our objective is to seek a minimum in AB. Okay. And what else do we consider? We further consider, if this is fx, we further consider fx to be unimodal. That implies the function is having a single, since we are talking about a minimization technique, so we will assume that this function is having a single minima in the interval AB. Now you tell me one thing. Suppose this is x1 and this is my x2. Okay. That implies if fx1 is more than fx2, okay, so can we say that the minimum can never lie towards the towards the left hand side of x1? Can we say that? Can we say this? Yes, can we say this? What I'm trying to say is, if f of x1 is more than fx2, then the minimum cannot lie to the left of x1. Am I okay with this? Am I okay with
Yes,
this?
ma'am.
That implies we can eliminate this region and your new interval of search would be x1 to b. This would be your new interval of search. Tell me, is everybody okay with this? Is everybody okay with this? Next, what can happen is, this is my A, this is B. Okay. Suppose this is x1 and this is x2. That implies f of x1 is less than f of x2. So can you tell me, if this be the case, which region can be eliminated? Which
X2B.
region? Pardon?
X2B.
Exactly. If this be the case, this region can be eliminated and your new region of search would be, just a moment. মিঠি কে এসছে? বলো বাইরে রেখে দিতে। আচ্ছা। So if this be the case, then your new region is going to be A to x1. Sorry, A to x2. Right? Are we okay with this? Going to be your, I'm sorry, this is going to be your new interval of search. And the third case, which is, almost understandable what's going to happen. Here, what we can actually assume is, this is my A, this is my B, and if it so happens that x1 and x2 are such situated that f of x1 becomes equal to f of x2, then can you tell me, this being a unimodal function, which region can be eliminated?
Ma'am, two regions can be eliminated, AX1 and X2B.
Right. If this be the case, we would be eliminating AX1. We would also be eliminating X2B. That is, your new interval of search would be X1 to X2. Okay. So the way we used to eliminate regions in case of your bisection, regular Falsian, Newton-Raphson, we are using a different technique known as the elimination method to eliminate regions, so that after doing a certain number of iterations, we are able to reach the desired accuracy, and gradually our interval of search is going to coincide with the minimum that we want to figure out. Is everybody okay with this? Is everybody okay with this? Achha. Now the first search technique that we are going to learn, let us just get started with the technique. It is known as the dichotomous search. Very simple. Dichotomous, di implies two. So it is kind of, this is very, very similar to your bisection method. We would be having the interval in every search. See, it's pretty simple. Suppose this is my x equal to A and this is my x equal to B. Okay. And the interval is I0. Let the interval is I0. Now, what are we trying to do using dichotomous search? We are trying to minimize, your objective is to minimize a function fx. What is our assumption? Our assumption is the function fx is unimodal in AB. Okay. Now, in dichotomous search, the first thing that we do is we would divide I0 into two equal parts. So if I kind of try to write down the algorithm, first is we divide I0 into two equal parts. Okay. Let this be the center. Okay. So this is how we have divided I0 into two equal parts. Now what we do is, the second part, tells us that around the center, we choose 2 points, x1 and x2 at epsilon by 2 from the center, epsilon being very small. So what did we do? This is my x1, this is my x2. This distance is epsilon by 2. This distance is epsilon by 2. Is everything visible what I have written? Acha, okay. Now what we do is, we are going to evaluate fx at x1 and x2. Okay. And let us consider that the case is not trivial. That is, let us consider f of x1 is not equal to f of x2, just to make you understand the algorithm. So once we evaluate fx at x1 and x2, we will be getting two different values. Now we will use the 2-point rule that is the method of elimination to eliminate either we eliminate AX1 or we eliminate X2B. Okay. And we are going to proceed in the similar way till we get the desired accuracy. Okay, could you follow the algorithm? Is everybody okay with the algorithm?
Yes, ma'am.
Now tell me one thing. At the very beginning, if this is the interval, at the very beginning, the interval is I0. Okay. Now, can you tell me what about the interval length after the first iteration? Achha, one more thing. In case of dichotomous search, one iteration implies two evaluations. That implies first iteration would imply calculating fx1 and fx2. So can I say that one iteration is equivalent to two evaluations? Can I say this? Can I say this?
Yes, ma'am.
So now you tell me, once we have the first iteration, okay, this is our x1, this is our x2. This portion is I0 by 2. If this is the center, this is also I0 by 2. Okay, so either we eliminate AX1 or we eliminate X2B. Correct? So can you tell me after first iteration, what would be the length of the interval?
I0 by 2.
Pardon once again.
I0 by 2, half of the interval.
Are you saying I0 by 2?
Yes, ma'am.
Could you please think over again and answer? We are eliminating either AX1 or we are eliminating X2B.
Oh, I0 by 2, I0 plus epsilon by 2.
Correct, very good. So after the first iteration, the length of the interval happens to be I0 plus epsilon by 2. Is everybody okay with this? Is everybody okay with this?
Yes, ma'am.
Acha. So can you tell me after two iterations, what about the length of the interval? Will you be able to tell me that?
Ma'am, I had a doubt. In the second interval also we'll take epsilon or we'll take a new variable epsilon 1.
Epsilon only.
Okay, ma'am. Then it will be I0 plus 3 epsilon by 4.
It would be half of I0 plus epsilon by 2 plus epsilon by 2. See, am I correct with this?
Yes, ma'am.
That implies it is I0 by 4 plus 3 epsilon by 4. Am I correct with this? Do let me
Yes.
know. Acha. Now, if I talk about the reduction ratio, that implies the ratio at which the interval is shrinking after the first iteration the reduction ratio would be, it was initially I0 divided by I0 plus epsilon by 2. Am I correct with this? Am I correct
Yes.
with this? That implies it is 2I0 by I0 plus epsilon. Now what? Now epsilon is very, very small. Epsilon is very, very small in comparison to I0. It is so small that it is almost tending towards 0. So that leads us to the reduction ratio being 2 after the first iteration. Am I correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Am I correct? কিরে ঠিক বলছি?
Yes,
Yes,
ma'am.
ma'am.
After the second iteration, what about the reduction ratio? It was initially I0 divided by I0 by 4 plus 3 epsilon by 4. So can you tell me what is this equal to if I assume I0 to be tending towards 0? Sorry, if I assume that epsilon is tending towards 0? 4, money 2 square. Well, okay, so can I say that after r iterations, the reduction ratio is 2 to the power of r? Can I say this? Yes, can I say this? Acha. Now tell me one thing. As I said, in a single iteration, we are doing 2 evaluations. Are we okay with this? In a single iteration, we need 2 evaluations. That implies if I say that the number of iterations is equal to r and the number of evaluations is equal to n, then can I say that n is equal to 2r? That implies what we can actually also say that after r iterations, the reduction ratio can also be expressed as 2 to the power of n by 2. Just let me know. Any problem as of now? Any problem as of now? Please do let me know. Any problem in understanding the algorithm? Please do let me know. Yes?
No, ma'am.
Acha. So should we start? We still have 10 minutes left. Should we start with the first part of a particular problem pertaining to dichotomous search? What do you say? Or we will start with the problem after your internals get over?
Ma'am, after internals.
আমি জানতাম তোমাদের অপশন দেওয়াটাই ভুল, ঠিক আছে, ঠিক আছে, বাট whenever we are going to meet after the internals, এই পার্টটা প্লিজ একটু রিভাইজ করে ক্লাসে আসবে, ঠিক আছে? So fine, that's all for the day. Whenever we are meeting
Thank
after
you,
the
ma'am.
internals, please revise this part, this elimination method and the algorithm of dichotomous search prior to our next class. Thank you so much. So I'm ending the screen share. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
এই তোরা কেউ নোট নিসনি তাহলে? তাহলে বাকিদেরকে তুই দিয়ে দে, বাকিদেরকে তুই দিয়ে দে, বুঝতে পারবে। মানে তোরা কি you all were like depending on the notes to be shared, তোরা কেউ কি কিচ্ছু লিখিসনি so far? কেউ তোরা লিখিসনি? এতদিন যে আমি ক্লাস নিয়েছি কারো কাছে কিচ্ছু লেখা নেই? মানে পরীক্ষাটা যদি অনলাইন হতো তাহলে তো প্রবাবলি এই নোটের প্রয়োজনটাও পড়তো না, হল কালেকশন করেই হয়ে যেত, তাই তো? ঠিক আছে, আমি দেখছি কি করা যায়। থ্যাংক ইউ, আমি মিটিংটা এন্ড করলাম।